Everybody grab something beside you. I unfortunately have nothing to grab. I caught you! That's how I always go. Is this mine? No, that was the previous one. Is this mine? We ate something, huh? No way? Oh. Am I over here? Say yes.
Hi, everybody. So glad to see you. So, I was here a few days ago doing a one-man show. How many of you were at the one-man show? Quite a few. All right. So here's what I thought we would do. Rather than repeat myself other than dinner, I just repeated myself. Funny, just trying to be funny. Warm the crowd up. What I'll do is just do questions and answers, and you ask me what you're interested in me talking about, and I'll try and give you an intelligent answer, and I'll ramble a bit. Can you hear me back there? The sound sounds a little fuzzy. You good back there? Okay, good.
We're good, Chef.
How are we handling do we have a microphone? There's this whole lack of organization here. All right, so just then I'll pick your hands. Hands up for a question. Yes, sir, the glasses over there. Nice and loud there, though. Yeah, you, yeah? I love it when it's you and the guy, everybody is. And then 7 people stand up and ask the same question. It's incredible. Osmosis. Yes, what's your question? I have 3 daughters. And as a father, where were you tonight? And who did you see? And what did you talk about? No, I'm kidding, but there is an element of truth in having a family dinner. And I would take my children everywhere I could and have adventures with them. But also, it was deemed an unsatisfactory dinner night with the Shatners if somebody didn't leave the table crying. They'd be saying, well, what did he say? And why did you do that? I don't know why I did that. So, there's no style, there's no training involved in any of these interview shows that I do. What is involved is a really basic and passionate interest in the person. I want to hear their story. There's nothing more fascinating than the human story and what journey people are taking. Even the slightest thing tells you reams of things about people. The seating arrangement in Raw Nerve, for example, is no accident. I wanted, in the beginning, before we had a seat made, a sort of love seat made, I had the chairs facing each other with the elbows, so somebody would be seated here, and I'd be about 2 feet away. We, in the Western world, have a bubble of convenience around us. It's about 18 inches. You violate that bubble, and you feel awkward. Other cultures get right into your ear, and maybe it's because we have wider spaces to live in, that we're not jammed up with people. But in North America, it seems to be about 18 inches away. If you're further away than 18 inches, like all these talk shows have, and you see, seated in a chair and there's a desk over there, and you're sort of saying, well, oh, okay, and you're having this conversation. It's hard to be intimate. If you're jammed right into the person, you're violating their space, and they can be intimidated. But somewhere in between that, and that's where I tried to find it on these talk shows that I was doing. I tried to find that perfect distance that is really, if you were at a dinner and you were talking to somebody and you were leaning forward because you were interested in your dinner partner, if you were about this distance away, it's really intimate and almost loving because you can see the nonverbal language, which is so important. People blink, people react to what you're saying. The colors, if you listen to a message on your phone, you can't get it in a text, but if you listen to the voice of somebody leaving you a message, I'm going to the store and I've got to get some milk, whatever how prosaic the message is, that person feels about milk. I like milk, I'm going to get milk. I'm going to get milk, and you can hear the emotion in each of their words, and that's what I'm listening to. I'm listening to the prosaic word, and they're coloring it by the emotion they feel, because everybody feels different about a word. The word snow means something different in Winnipeg than it does to an Eskimo. 13 words, I think it is, in Inuit language for what snow is. But somebody in New Orleans doesn't know from snow, so the words, as common as they are, have a meaning. And in these talk shows that I'm conducting, I'm seeking to get into a momentary look at their soul. And that is the exciting part of one human being to another, to go on their journey. And conversely, to share your journey with them. And that begins an intimate relationship with somebody in that you're interested in them and they're interested in you, and all of a sudden you've got a friend. And if she's lovely, good enough? Next, right here, so.
You've done so many different things in your career already. What are some things, career-wise or otherwise, that are at the top of your bucket list?
Let's see, so much going on. I can't tell you what the iPhone app is. I offer to be able to talk about it. I've got this one-man show. I've got this record. I've got this book, and actually a DVD of the Captains, all going on at the same time. The record, by the way, just while I think about it, there's a limited number, like 10 or 12 or something. There's a limited number of the LPs, this large version, the LP version of Seeking Major Tom. They're collector items, and there's only been so many pressed, and there will be no more pressed. So if you're interested, they're there, and that LP is unique. And if it so strikes you, you should get it now, because they'll be gone and never more. So if you want to talk about this app, I can't tell you what the app is, but there's going to be an app on the iPhone. It's going to be totally different than anything you've seen. And we're working on it. And it's astonishing, really. I mean, what technology can do. The nerds here know about it. And the kids know about it far better than the people who are over 25, because they're growing up with computers at their fingertips. They know about it. But everything that happens, like voice recognition technology for your phone. So you say, get me so and something comes up. You're literally speaking into it. Now, when we did Star Trek all those years ago, you know, it's like, sure. You come into a room and say, lights on, you know, or help, I've fallen, or something. You know, that was all somebody's imagination. Beaming down was a invention to avoid a docking procedure. All right, we're docking a little to the left, a little to the right. Okay, lower the gate, let's walk down. I mean, sure, you could shortcut it in editing, but the question of how you get down from the spaceship to wherever you're going, if you can beam down, press a button, shoot, you're down there, and you don't waste any dramatic time. That's essentially why we thought about transport. Well, they now can transport this at the molecular level, but between two electrodes, I guess it is, between 2 points of energy, they've been able to move a molecule. Well, that's the first step. Who would have thought that out of the necessity of writing for editing purposes in film, that an electronic invention would start, and if you can move one molecule, you can move two. And you still have nothing, but it's liable to take off. Solar power, just reading about solar power. Solar power costs have halved in the last few years. They expect them to halve again in the next few years. Solar power is coming. Solar power, a panel on our roof will supply us for gradually more and more of the electricity we need. And power outages will be a thing of the past if we live long enough. That's the other part. We got to preserve the environment. So I'm into this app for an iPhone, and it's fascinating what can be done with this technology. Look for it because it's going to be interesting. I've also gone out there the last several years a website called My Outer Space. Okay, I'm going to go to a meeting in 2 weeks. No, next week. I go to Toronto, Montreal to finish the one-man show tour, and then I'm back in LA, and I'm going to a meeting with a guy, what's the name of the singer who owns part of MySpace? The singer, Justin Timberlake. Perfect. Thanks. I'm going to a meeting with the people who have MySpace, Justin Timberlake, to talk about a game show. The game show that we want to put on is called Top Spot, and it would involve you guys with any kind of camera shoot a 15-second, and we get to you by internet. You shoot a 15-second commercial. You send it to us. Our board, groups of people, pick out the most promising of the hopefully thousands that come in. We notify you. Your commercial was funny, was observant, it had a message. We bring you to Los Angeles. I think we bring you, or else you stay at home and we give you some money to make a 30-second commercial. That's it. You're going to stay home and make a 30-second commercial of the subject we give you. Say Coca-Cola. You're going to make a 30-second commercial for Coca-Cola, uniquely yours. You send it to us. We bring you to LA, and we have Top Spot, a half a dozen people vying for the best commercial for a product that's in common. So it becomes the best commercial, if you will, along with you think you can dance and all that, but you think you can shoot a commercial. So Justin Timberlake owns a large part of MySpace. So I'm meeting, a large group of us are meeting about the possibility of having that game show called Top Spot on my MySpace. I was going to say hang on, but we're just brushing your hair back. You weren't raising your hand at all. I've got a website called My Outer Space. It's been on the air been on the web couple of years now. We've been running contests on it. Everybody interested in science fiction is invited to go to My Outer Space, and it's organized along the lines of, what do you want to do? Do you want to direct a science fiction movie? Do you want to write a science fiction movie? Do you want to do the animation? We're having contests to find the best people, and what our ambition is on My Outer Space is to make a movie voted by you. What do you want to see? You vote on it. Do you want the bad guy to beat the good guy? Or the good guy beat the bad? Do you want it to look like this? Let's see animation. And we use the audience to build ourselves a movie, which I think will play on the on Space Channel here, Sci-Fi Channel down in the States. That sort of thing. It's really fascinating to see what people want to do. There is a game, now this is done, the contracts are signed. There'll be an electronic game on My Outer Space, which will play also on the web, on Facebook and all. But there's a new space game, electronic game, that's being invented right now. And I'm helping invent it. And that's totally fascinating too. The invention of an electronic game is like making a movie. And there's so many aspects to it that I don't understand. One of them, which is interesting, that I do understand, is branching. If you give a yes button to this thing, then you have two possibilities, yes and no. So if you press no to that one, you then have two yes and no's over here. And so this branching is what the game is all about. That's what the logarithms are written about. It's a yes and no, open and close, but they branch. And the invention of that branching is what makes the games. Now, I don't play the games. I never played a game, but I know the stories. My grandson plays the games all the time. He won't come out of his room. At least he tells me that's what he's doing. I mean, there are guys, my grandson being one of them, who play it all the time. They're totally involved in this other world. And how they can involve people from all the other countries and places to be on the same team, I have no idea. I just know it exists, but I don't know how they do it. How do they get it? Joe Smith in London and Francois in Paris and Jack over here in Winnipeg to all be on the same team, I don't know. But it's an extraordinary new invention. So I'm involved in all kinds of other things, new series. I am involved in trying to invent shows. One I'll tell you about it because I'm in the process of doing it right now. I've written a speech. I wrote the outline and sent it to the head of A&E in the States, which is a branch of we have in Canada. It would open with a monologue by someone, maybe me, like The Twilight Zone, where the guy says, I think people are basically bad. They scheme. They plot for their own invention. They conspire all the time. And here are some of the conspiracies. And the hour would be a conspiracy that may or may not exist. Was there a JFK conspiracy? But this is from the point of view of the conspirator. There were three men. There were three men involved in the JFK conspiracy, and I'm going to tell you about it. The guys at Roswell, the little green men in Roswell, that happened. There's a conspiracy to stop us from knowing them. UFOs, they exist. There's a conspiracy to stop us from knowing about UFOs. Did you know that? You didn't know that, did you? The Air Force doesn't want us to know because we're going to panic if we know there's a UFO. See, I got you. So I am like roiling in creativity and ambition. Why I'm doing this when I could be sitting on a stage talking to people, I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that you hear about, as you get older, your brains mortify, they get sticky, and you lose. It doesn't have to happen. I'm here to tell you, it doesn't have to happen. If you just allow yourself to be creative in your own way, whatever it is you're doing, be creative. Your brain grows. You get better. Your brain is better with age if you allow yourself. My book says say yes to opportunity. Say yes. The hell with it. What's it going to... Oh, what can you do? Fail? Are they going to shoot you? They're not. I failed. Oh, gosh, I feel bad. I feel bad for a day, 2, 5, 10 days, and then you're over it. And try again. Meanwhile, the dendrites in your brain are growing. They're growing because here's my opinion. Since we know that if you take drugs and you become what's the word? Addicted. If you become addicted, your brain is becoming addicted. Your brain is growing the need for drugs, and that's why it's so difficult to give it up, because your body is saying, I need this now. Why can't the same thing happen with creativity? Saying yes and doing and going and being, maybe that grows new dendrites too, only they're positive. Why wouldn't that be the case? I think I know that is the case. So that's what my book is about, by the way. Okay. Yes?
Shatner, I'd like to ask 2 questions. Well, one kind of alluded to already. The first one is, what is it that drives you to be so involved and so creative? And secondly, what in all of your experience, all of your life, what are maybe 1 or 2 things that you feel you can share